All right, everybody, we're going to look at Module 3 this week, which is Muscular Strength and Muscular Endurance, and we're going to talk about what the difference is between these two categories. So we're going to start with Muscular Strength. Muscular strength, as we talked about in our intro module, is the ability to use maximum effort to perform an exercise at least one time. So these are exercises that are extremely difficult to do, and we as PE teachers or trainers don't expect you to be able to constantly do these exercises. They are meant to exhaust your muscles. So one of the most common exercises that we use to test your muscular strength are the push-ups. Okay, so when we do this test, we have a very low score for your passing grade in the push-ups. Girls have to do like 7, and boys, I think you have to do 12. So it's not a high number passing test. Some other examples of exercises that require muscular strength, we have weightlifting. So when I talk about weightlifting, I'm talking about very heavy sets of weight, not taking a 3-pound dumbbell and doing bicep curls. That's more of an endurance. You can do that longer. It's going to take a longer time for your muscles to get tired. I'm talking heavier weights. When I was your age, we did not have the push-ups as our test for the physical fitness muscular strength portion. We did pull-ups, and the passing test for pull-ups was you had to complete 1. And the problem is a lot of kids were not passing this test because it is extremely hard to do pull-ups. So the state of Connecticut took a look at our scores and decided that it needed to be completely changed. So in the year 2000, we changed over to the push-up test, and that's what we've been using since. A sports example of a muscular strength move would be a block in football. So you have your offensive and defensive linemen who line up at the point of play, and they wait for the ball to snap, and they have to jump up and push their opponents and keep them from getting to their quarterback because their quarterback is trying to throw. And this is not something that they have to do continuously. They are pushing on a person that's anywhere from 260 to 300 pounds only for a couple of seconds until their quarterback can get the ball out of their hand. All right, so muscular endurance. So we talked about this word endurance before in our aerobic module. So if we remember, endurance means over a long period of time. So muscular endurance is the ability for muscles to continuously repeat an exercise for a long period of time. And the test that we use for this area is the curl-ups. Okay, it's not a sit-up. Curl-ups are a modified type of sit-up where you do not come up all the way. So some other exercise examples of muscular endurance is we have the plank. The plank is probably one of the best exercises you could do overall for your body. It works your arms, it works your core, it works your back, it works your legs. And then we have everybody's favorite exercise. We have burpees. Now she's doing just a basic burpee where she is going to come down into a plank. She's going to jump back up and do it again. You can add a muscular strength portion to a burpee. When you come down to that plank, you can perform a push-up and then come back up if you wanted to get that in there as well. But you're going to tire out faster if you add the push-up to it. And then we have pegboards. Pegboards have come back into popularity ever since American Ninja Warrior came out on television. And the idea is you have these wooden dowel rods that you have to insert into the holes of the board, and you have to work your way across or up a pegboard, and that requires a lot of strength and endurance because you have to try to get yourself across. So let's talk about push-ups because they are a difficult exercise and they require a specific way to be done in order for us to count them as correct when you are doing your test. So if you take a look at the top, even Captain America had to fail at push-ups before he could be a superhero. So if you take a look, his legs are touching the ground, his hips are sagging, His arms are not coming all the way down as far as he should be. His head is flopping absolutely everywhere. This is a great example of a horrible push-up. But if you take a look on the right, we have this young lady from head all the way to her heels. She is one straight line, okay? You want to keep your hips in line with your back as you're coming down. No part of her is touching the floor when she's in the down position. Her arms from her shoulder to her elbow are a perfectly straight line. She's coming down to a 90-degree angle, or as what I say, an upside down L. If I were to have her hold the down position and I were to put a glass of water on her back or her arm, it would be perfectly balanced. If I were to do the same thing to pre-Captain America up there, he'd be leaving basic training soaking wet. So you want to be able to keep yourself in this perfectly flat position every time you perform a push-up. All right, how to perform a curl up correctly. When making this lecture, I found that there is a severe lack in curl up gifs. So I'm hoping that through your assignment this week, I can take one of your videos and insert it in here to make this presentation a little bit better. So if you take a look at the picture at the top, we have this young lady who's getting ready to do the curl ups. She is laying back on her mat. Her legs are bent. Her feet are a comfortable distance away from her bottom. Her arms are flat, her hands are flat, and her fingertips are at the starting point of her 4-inch strip. When she has to come up, she's going to remove her head, her neck, her shoulder blades, and her upper back from the mat, and she's going to slide her hands forward to touch the opposite end of her strip. And that is as far up as you need to go. If she were to come all the way up to her legs, that's a sit-up. And it's been proven that sit-ups are not the greatest abdominal exercise because when you do come all the way up, you are releasing the contraction in your abdominal muscles, which means they have relaxed and they are not working anymore. So curl-ups, if you're coming partially up, you are constantly working those muscle groups.